So, this is Qyalms visiting again from the Grim Wayside, and you may have noticed in many of our previous videos, I was very excited about my pre-order for the 9-color deer collaboration between Antu and Penny's Box again. So, Penny's Box previously came out with the centaurs and the mermaids and then the dragons, and now they've come out with the 9-color deer. I really appreciate the fact that this is tapping into Chinese culture again. The story of the 9-colored deer is a Buddhist story, but they are specifically referencing the Dunhaung paintings, and forgive my pronunciation, that are on the Silk Road. And so the box actually says Silk Road souvenir here. The story of the 9-colored deer, the deer is one of the incarnations of the Buddha, and he saved a merchant who then turned around and betrayed him to the king. So that's the very short version of the story. So we're going to go ahead and open. There should be 6 this time. One possible hidden version. I haven't found canonical English names for these, so I'm going to do my best. I did look up the characters, the kanji characters, and did my best to sort of translate them. So you'll have to bear with me. I don't have English names for them, but I do have sort of theme names for them that are listed underneath of each one. There's just general information on the back of the box. It comes with several QR codes, and then I think this is an authenticity code up here in the corner. So if you're worried about whether or not you're getting a bootleg version of it, check for the sticker. And so let's go ahead and pop the box open. I cut the seal, but I haven't opened the boxes themselves yet. And there we are. These are the 6 boxes. I have seen 2 people did get the limited version, the hidden version of the deer. It's a 1 in 72 chance. So we've never gotten a special hidden version of any of these Penny's boxes that we've opened. So hopefully someday maybe we'll get that. Eventually luck will have to turn our direction. So we can go ahead and open the first one. So this is what the box looks like. It has this vibrantly colored little deer person on the front. I believe the name that I saw for her is Celestial Music. The information on the box looks very similar to what's on the large box. And again, I think this is an authenticity sticker. All the members, it lists the six deer on the side, and then the one that's the special edition. Okay, so the first one, I can't tell yet. So she is the one that's on the front of the box. So this should be Celestial Music. I think the other name for her, let me just check my paper. I believe she's called Danny. And I think one of the characters in her name means like Nirvana, which is related to, again, the Buddhism and the mythology of the 9-colored deer. It's really well packed. Okay, so they each come with a number of gold accessories. So it looks like she has, I'm going to think that this one's a bracelet. This one might be her necklace, or I guess this one's her necklace. And this one I think is an anklet for her. And then she also comes with these 2 little sort of closed fist hands. The hands that are on her body are these sort of graceful, open-fingered hands. She's got a really loose head, very wobbly head. See how that goes when we actually put her to stand up. So there is the usual sheet of instruction paper that comes with all of the Penny's box materials. The deer are across the top. The 4 series that they've already released are along the bottom here. And then everything that's specific to the deer is back here on this page. They do have the removable eyes that the dragons had. I think Kikagoods still has those extra eye chips. as part of another reward promotion that you can get. So if there's a set of 4 differently colored eye chips available on Kikagoods as well. So the regular series has just 1 faceplate. The special edition has 2, I believe. She has like a sort of ears up, ears down, sleepy looking version. It has a little bit of information here about how to put on her clothes. Doesn't look very difficult. Not actually sure what I'm looking at. Here's the changing hands. And man, I guess maybe I needed my glasses. I think this is changing hair. I think this is instructions for changing their hair. Okay, so let's actually break into her clothes and take a look at them. I really liked the color palette on this one. It has these really rich sort of pumpkin-y orange and rusty red colors in hers that contrast really pretty with this sort of bluey teal color. I wasn't sure how many pieces the outfits would come in when I saw them on the box. So it looks like it is 3 pieces plus the jewelry. So there's this little sort of bikini top that has a snap closure. She has a little tiny chest. So the bikini top should go around it and has a little accent with a gold bead, which is a very nice touch. I think that adds some interest to the top, which is very simple. And it just goes around her. That should be pretty easy to put on. Said I before I tried. I will say I wasn't sure how the gold was going to be on them. It was a little difficult to tell. All of them have the gold accessories, and then they have gold accents on them. This particular one she has, I did finally get the snap closed. This particular one has this gold that's on the horns, and from some pictures it looked kind of like it was a dull gold, and then from the promo pictures it looked like it was this super bright, almost like gold leafed type of gold. So I wasn't sure. I was prepared to be a little disappointed, but actually the gold looks gorgeous in person. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but it is pretty shiny. I wouldn't say it's the gold leafed look that's in the promo pictures, but it's much closer to that than sort of a dull sort of airbrushy gold. Let's give this top another chance now that I know the snaps. I know it works. There we go. So it doesn't have any straps, so just her endowment will have to keep it up. Then she's got this little skirt piece. The skirt piece has a bunch of layers to it. It has these little heavy bells on it. The bells themselves don't ring. They don't have anything inside of them, and they're not hollow. But they are quite substantial. They do have quite a bit of weight to them. The like this belt sash matches her top. It has just the slightest bit of pattern to it. It's sort of a sheer fabric. The center has this really beautifully patterned ribbon with an elaborate sort of matching gold and red and that teal sort of green pattern on it. That's really pretty. And then it's 2 layers itself, an orange over a red. And I think the opening, looking at the pictures, the opening goes in the front, or the opening with the bells goes in the front, and then the Velcro goes on the back, which shows off her little tiny deer tail. The bag rips open really easily, which I'm a little disappointed because the other pennies boxes, I believe, have resealable bags. And so I'm a little afraid I'm going to lose the hands. I'm going to have to take extra care to like pop those into like some kind of Ziploc bag later. This is her anklet. It's very pretty gold, and I think it's just flexible enough you just snap it on. Let's see. So I'm noticing a few things, specifically comparing it to the centaurs, which are like the first set that they released. They're far more delicate, the legs. They're much more slender. The hooves are cloven, and they are also much smaller than the centaurs. Okay, there we go. Got the leg bracelet on. This one should be her, looks like it's her upper arm. So her picture has another bracelet on her, but I don't think we got that bracelet. We did get the necklace, and we got the armlet, and we got the anklet, but I don't think we got that additional bracelet that's in the picture. I'm sure that's probably just part of the promo pictures. 3 pieces of jewelry feels very generous, to be fair. My nails are a little long. I was so excited to open the box that I didn't have time to refill them. There we go. And then on with her necklace, which just pops on really easily. Oh, her little top came down. Okay, so I didn't describe her very well. So she has the tiniest, cutest, itty-bittiest little deer tail in the back. It's a translucent red color that matches her hooves. Her body has a joint in the center. I don't think the centaurs had that joint, so that gives her some additional posability from that joint that's in the center of her body. She has little fur tufts all over her legs. Her body is the same color as all of the rest of her skin, so it does give her kind of a little creepy nude look about it, but it's not so bad. The much like the centaurs had, she's got the little peanut joints, so there's an extra piece in the knees that gives it an extra posability. The same thing with the front legs have that extra piece for the posability. I really like the sculpt. I think it's pretty graceful. I know that part of the centaur's cuteness is how like chubby and, you know, fluffy they are, but as the deer are, they're not as tall, I think, as the dragons. I actually have a dragon right here. So comparing her, I think her face might be just the slightest bit bigger than the dragon. I'm not sure. So, but the length between her shoulders and the dragon's feet and her feet is about the same. The mermaid, which I have right here, you can kind of compare. So when you look at her and my mermaid stands on her tail pretty well. So when her tail is bent over and she's standing on it, she's about the same height, just a little shorter than the others. And then the centaur, as a main comparison, you can see how much smaller the centaur is compared to the mermaid, the dragon, who I think I would still call the largest of them. But in terms of comparing, you know, sort of apples to other colored apples, the body of the centaur versus the body of the deer, it's clearly much more, oh, you know what? I was wrong. The centaur also has a little joint that's in the center at the waist. I guess I just never noticed. The short limbs, I think, make it a little more difficult to pose. I keep them on my desk, my work desk, when I'm, you know, working and playing with them. So this sort of like chubby body doesn't lend itself that great to like posing, I think. The slender body of the deer, I think, might. But that's a pretty good comparison. You can see how different the size of the feet are, and then just the general proportions. The heads are very similar. I don't really see any major differences. The centaurs definitely have a chubby, you know, chubby cheeked, like baby look to them compared to the deer, who are a lot more elegant. So I just put that one away. This particular one, Celestial Music, she has this gorgeous red hair. I'm partial to red hair myself. With some really pretty gold accents. There's like a little butterfly in the back. She has these big loops of hair. There's another golden headband in the back. The little pigtails in the front have little gold bands around them. Her horns themselves are gold at the bottom and then clear, translucent at the top with like these carvings on them. She also has the little horn, the little unicorn horn that all of the others have, correction that the centaurs and the mermaids have. The dragons have their own horns. They don't need additional horns. So why she has another horn, I'm not entirely sure. But I guess that's just an artistic choice. She has some pretty obvious peachy red blushing on both her ears and her cheeks, and even her chin, which is so cute. And then between her eyes and her eyebrows, she does have eyebrows under her hair. She has what I think is a little flame on the center of her forehead. She has the separate eyes, just like the dragons had, with the little chips in them. These are more detailed, I think, than the dragon ones. Even they have reflections and pupils, and I think she actually has like fire in the decoration of her eye. It's a little hard to tell. She's got these cute little tiny eyelid marks, and she has got these really pretty little eyelashes. So all in all, I am super impressed. The gold is much nicer than I had worried it might be. The outfit is extremely pretty. She has an incredible amount of details to her, and so I'm really excited to open the others. This tail is just beyond cute. It's so tiny. And the one thing I forgot to mention, which I've seen a little bit, is that they have these scarf pieces and they have wire in them so that they can have a sort of a floating effect when you wrap them around the posed deer. I'm not going to worry about it right now because I'm going to have to just put her to the side. But you can pose the fabric around her as if it were floating in the air. And so that's really pretty. I should have found, I think here it is. Yes. So all of the pennies box and most blind boxes, I think, coming from China, have some kind of card with them. And her card looks like a little fan, which is super cute. There's a ton of writing on the back. I'm going to have Google Translate help me out with that one. But it has a really cute little picture of her on the front, and it looks like a fan. It's got her name, which on the English sites I've seen says celestial music, I think is what I saw. Okay, moving on to number 2. Okay, so we pulled out the green one. Here is her card. When I looked at her kanji, I believe it was Shuzi was her name, and it means like something like book and branch, which makes sense. I think she's really the only one who's like this particular green color, which gives her a very plant-like look. They are extremely well packed. I know that I had a problem with one of the dragons. This one, actually. Oops. This one had come with this little horn missing in her box. But Kikagoods was amazing. They immediately were able to send me out a new one to replace it. But I've seen that Kikagoods has been demonstrating their new packing, and I think it's definitely worth it. The packing is extremely good for these particular ones. So this little green colored girl, she has translucent hair, green pigtails coming down, and then it has an ombre of sort of this sort of blonde, yellow, creamy color. In the back, she has these sort of bunny ear shaped loops of hair that then become translucent green again. She has 2 different sized horns, which I think is a cute detail. They definitely have like a brownish tinge to them, so they do look like branches for sure. She has sort of sleepy eyes compared to the other one. You can see her 2 little eyebrows between her bangs. Then she has, can't quite tell if she's got some kind of symbol in her eyes as well. I will say these separate eye chips are really, really detailed, really pretty, much more detailed than the ones that came in the dragons. And they do have a good follow quality. So when you turn them back and forth, they do seem to have that following aspect of them that's so sought after in these dolls. She has the same kind of soft blushing, little pink on her chin, very cute, and just the same beautiful eyelashes on her. So she has the teeny tiny little bitty green deer tail. She has green feet. Let's look at her jewelry. So she has more jewelry than the first one did. So in her little bag, she has the same closed hands that came with the other one. She's wearing her open hands. It looks like she has her anklet, just like the other one had. We'll put that on. She has two bracelets, or at least she has a bracelet and an armband. The bracelet that I was assuming was going to come with the one that's pictured on the box, she has that one. So maybe that was an oversight for the other deer. I'm not deeply upset if that's the case, that particular little gold bracelet was missing. Not that bothered. It's the costumes themselves are pretty elaborate. Okay, there's her anklets again, very pretty. And she's got a little brace. Or no, this was her armlet. It goes on the top of her arm. They're a little tricky to open if you have like long fingernails. I would say they're just the right kind of bendy. Not so bendy they're going to be loose and not so tight that they're going to break when you pop them on. I don't know if you'd want to be popping them on and off all the time. She has a slightly different necklace. Her necklace has 2 layers to it. The previous necklace had like little spikes on it. Pull that off for a second so you can see the difference. So they do have different kinds of necklaces as well. So the first one had the spikes. This one has a 2-layered necklace. And then this teeny tiny beaded bracelet is the one that I saw on the box picture. We'll just dress her up like she was on the box. Whoops. Oh dear. There it is. Not meant to be a pun. The bracelet fits a little small, to be honest. Like it's not going to stay on because it's quite open on the bottom. So I'm a little concerned about that. Okay, to open up her clothes, she has the same information pamphlet that the others do, so we don't really need to open that. So she has a cute little top. Hers has little shoulder straps so that hers isn't going to fall down by itself. It has this tiny little, it's like a little silk screen or like an iron-on kind of sticker thing, and it's like a little pink center on a green flower. It also closes with a snap like the first one did. So it's nice that this particular one has straps on it. Okay, so her floating ribbon accessory is this peach color. It has a slight like sort of brocade pattern on it. It's the same that's in her skirt. So her skirt opens up in the back like the other one did. It doesn't have the same hole in the front or the same, split in the front that the first one had. It has a white layer underneath that has white spots with gold accents to it. Then it has a peachy color layer and then the green layer. And it has these long strings with little bows in them. And those bows are so cute. They're such a cute detail. And then finally, it has this very decorative sort of chain coming down from it. It's got this little flower. And between each of the flowers, there's actually like a little rhinestone. So the detail on this is really pretty. I always love the details on these pennies box BJDs. The quality of the stitching is usually super good. The details are great. They're, for the price, an amazing value for the price that you're paying. I've been in the BJD game a long time, and the fact that these are so reasonably priced is just so exciting. Okay, so that was our little branch girl. Picking up the next one. Okay, so we pulled out the other sort of reddish colored one, and that would make her name Jean Lee. Woo! I smell the vinyl on that one. So she has a necklace, a bracelet, an armlet, an anklet, and the closed hands. So I'm starting to wonder if that first one should have had an extra bracelet in it. Hopefully I didn't just lose it when I opened it. We'll have to go back and check the camera, but I don't think I've lost it. Okay. So she has pure gold horns. And again, I'm pleasantly surprised. I was worried we might get a pretty cheap looking version of gold, but this is quite pretty. It definitely doesn't give it a cheap look. So she has sort of these flowing gold horns. They're gold all the way from the top to the bottom. She has these 3 little loops of her bright red hair, or should I say dark red hair. An extra gold ornament in there. Her loops of hair have sort of a light pink ombre and just a slight amount of translucence to her. On her face, she has purple accents this time. You can see her little purple eyebrows, and she has a flower in the center of her forehead, sort of a blue-purple color. Her eyes are a bright magenta. They are completely open, more like the first one that we opened rather than the second, who had sort of sleepy eyes. And I don't think the pattern that's inside of them is different. I'm going to have to get out my glasses, my old lady glasses later, and see if I can actually see a difference between the patterns of reflections that are in the eyes, but I think they're all the same. I think so. So her hooves are sort of this dark cherry color. For her outfit, she has this sort of sage mint green floating ribbon. She has this dark mauve-y colored top. It does not have any other embellishments on it. It doesn't have like a bead in the center or the straps that the other one had, but it does close with the same snap closure that the other two did. Goodness. Yeah, if you ever want to travel down the history of defunct doll companies, I certainly have a lot of BJDs from companies that no longer exist or regularly put out dolls. Lots of Zoom. I know they're still around, but they don't produce the same as they used to. Some of the old Lutz dolls, several Dream of dolls. I used to love their sculpts. I even have a Domuya. They didn't last very long. They were supposed to be really good for posing. I found mine to be a little sloppy and loose, and her body shape was a little odd, so I had to have clothes custom made for her body in order for them to fit properly. So I think her name, the Domuya's name was Sasha? I don't remember, but she came out at the same time as Doll Heart was making furs, FER outfits, which were just the rage at the time. And then it turned out that when we actually purchased a fur to go with that particular doll, it didn't fit. It wasn't zipped up in the back. So it looked great for pictures, but it was actually a huge disappointment. But that's okay. The furs were very beautifully done outfits. Doll Heart is another one of my just absolute favorites. I just love looking at all the details that are on the Doll Heart outfit. So now we got her little top on. So her skirt's a little simpler than the other two. Her outfit's a little simpler. She has a pale pink underskirt that's got sort of a pattern on it. It makes it look slightly wrinkly. And then a darker mauve overlay. The waistband is a deep sort of turquoise teal. There's a flower decoration in the center. Her ribbon that goes down the front has a pattern on it of flowers that are in gold and red and green. And then this really cute like loop on the side that's a chain. And on the chain is a little faceted turquoise bead and then a gold sort of paddle shape. Yeah, it's pretty. I think her outfits and her top are a little simpler than the other ones. I'm not sure how that decision was made, unless they were trying to, unless the gold on the horns meant they needed to cut somewhere else for cost. I don't know. Her arm back in proper place. So we've seen the hands and the jewelry. I'm just going to put the jewelry on later for her. It's more of the same. So it's the exact same set of jewelry that was previously on the green one, the one that's based on a branch or a tree. So I'm going to put those on her later so that we don't have to sit through the same thing again. But I'm going to go ahead and put her over here. We are on box number 4 of 6. Okay, so this is the pinky green one, pink and purple. Let me see what my thing says. Aqua and pink, I think is what I called this one, and it is Baozhanghua, and it's some kind of like precious flower. So she should be sort of flower themed. Okay. So in terms of her jewelry, she has the same spiky necklace that the first deer had, but she also has the little beaded bracelet and the anklet and the upper arm one. So yeah, I'm definitely wondering if there should have been another bracelet in with that first deer. So that might have been an oversight. I'm not sure. Here is her little fan card. She has a very mermaid sort of palette to her. With her, she has aqua hooves and a little tiny aqua tail. Her hair is mostly an aqua color, sort of matte with these 2 ornate bow structures on the back. She has pink ponytails. She has an asymmetrical ponytail in the front. That's part of it that has a bright pink ombre, and that pink ombre matches her translucent pink horns. She has really cute little bubble horns. I love the fact that every horn is unique and individualized to each one of the little deer. She has pink eyes that match her hair. She has a little, I think it's a leaf print pattern above her one eye that's visible. Most of her forehead is covered up by her hair. And then she has bright pink eyes, the same kind of blushing, the same kinds of ears that the others have. But these, I love the little asymmetrical pigtail braid that's in the front. So her top looks more like a sleeveless turtleneck. It's a sort of pale bluey gray color. My eyes, I think, are just deceiving me. I was thinking it had an ombre, but I don't think so. It has a it has a red and yellow flower print on the front. This one closes with Velcro, so maybe I won't struggle quite so badly. It's a weird fit, to be fair. Okay, there we go. She's got, what I mean by weird fit is she's got a lot of side boob. It's a choice. Okay, that was easy enough. Then she has pants, which is strange. So she has little pink, dark pink pants, sort of the same color as the previous deer that we were looking at. They have gathered elastic at the bottom, and I guess should just go up over her front legs. It's definitely a different kind of pants to like deal with the centaur type body. So I am confused, but I like them. They're very cute. Yeah, and so they kind of fit behind her body like a little bib almost with a snap. So the edge that is around her body, which is covered up by her skirt, is an unfinished edge. The rest of the edges are finished. I don't know if it's going to fray or not. It has the slightest look of fraying to it. There's some loose threads already, but I don't know. I'm not going to play very vigorously with these. I prefer to like pose them and display them on my desk or on my shelves. So I'm not deeply concerned that it's going to fray, but that might be a concern for someone else. Her floating ribbon is a turquoisey, pinky aqua color, the same as her hair. And then her skirt, I think, ties on. So it's made out of the same fabric that the pants are made out of, and it has unfinished edges too. So I reiterate my concerns about the fraying. I don't know if that's going to be a problem with this particular one. In addition to the dark teal waistband that I guess is just going to tie around her, there are these really pretty faceted bead loops. They're on gold wires, and they're just the softest sort of aqua, and they are faceted, so they twinkle in the light really pretty. Then her pink skirt thing has green diamonds on it with little white dots. Those are iron-on sort of prints as well. Okay, looks like it's supposed to go over her back and then tie around her front in the said. I'm going to display, maybe pose them. You know, I like to change their poses, not like infrequently. I'm not sure what kind of bow would work best. I'm gonna leave it simple for now and then play with it later, maybe some kind of Lolita back style bow. I don't know that her outfit feels the most cohesive. The blue in the top doesn't really, and then the red and the yellow don't really feel like they go with the rest of the doll. I like the pants. I think it's a super cute idea. I like the doll. I'm not sure I'm feeling the outfit as a whole. But, you know, that's to each their own. So that is our little friend, the precious flower. 2 more boxes. Okay, so this is the blue and orange one, and when I looked at her name, I believe it was Ranxing, and it means something like dyed apricot. Okay, here is her card. Like I said, dyed apricot, and that makes sense. She has apricot sort of peachy colored horns. They have carving on them. She has 2 high loops that her little braids run to. The gold decoration in her hair goes all the way around. For these BJDs, you know, normally you, to a certain extent, customizing your BJD, like being able to change their hair, is kind of one of the benefits of being able to have a ball jointed doll. But the hair on these, on all of the series, are so pretty that you just can't be mad at them for being sculpted on. They're just so pretty. So hers has this apricot ombre going into this blue. I like the color combination. I think it's daring. So she has blue eyelashes with some apricot or dark orangey, rusty orange eyeshadow that's peeking out from underneath. And then her eyes are sort of the orangey rust color. The contrast is really pretty between those. She's got these cute little dots that are right under her eyes. And she's even got her little tiny little eye, like eyelid marks. So cute. Very, very cute. Little tiny pink tail. And little peachy colored feet. She came with the same package of the little beaded bracelet, the spiky looking necklace, the leg cuff, and the arm cuff with the closed hands. And then she has a very patterned skirt for hers. You just have to be amazed at how they don't repeat anything, right? Like all of these colors and fabrics are so different from each other. Like even these are the similar fabric, these two floating ribbons, but they're different colors and the colors coordinate so pretty. So her top is a sort of dusty aqua color with a green and gold flower shaped design. She has little cream colored straps that keep the top up, and it is a snap closure again. The outfits, the tops are kind of simple. But man, they're so much easier to put on than those centaur clothes. The centaur clothes are beautiful. They are sort of a Lolita style clothing with usually a little cardigan or something over a dress. But man, those little cardigans are tough to get over their little pointy fingers. Okay, so her skirt has an elastic closure, so it's very similar to the other skirts. The top layer is patterned with a bronzy colored pattern there's some like shiny bits embedded into or woven into the fabric that you really only see when it catches the light. And then underneath it's a sheer blue fabric. And then the ribbon that's in the front is sort of an aqua color that's not really in the outfit anywhere else, with the yellow and green paisley swirls on them. So yeah, other embellishments with that. But it does have kind of a nice cute gathered detail right in the front of the skirt. Okay, so that is her, and we've got one left. So it's either dramatically the hidden one, or let me think. I think it's going to be another bluesy pinky one. Should be Moon Spring. And it is. It's Moon Spring. Okay. They're taking over. So here is Moon Spring's card. She is blue and pink. Her blue and pink compared to the aqua and pink, the pinks are very similar, but the blues are extremely different. Okay. She's so pretty. I love her hair. So she has, and like I said, I think her name is Moon Spring. And I have to say, I think I love her hair the most. It's kind of the most difficult to work with because it has these long pigtails in the back. But they are an ombre from a frosty sort of blue to a translucent blue, and they have really beautiful movement in them that makes it look like it's rippling in the wind. Her hairstyle is unique too. Instead of just, some loops, It has this really pretty swoop in the back with an extra loop here. It's a style that I've seen a couple times in like games like Shining Mickey, but it's not one that I've seen on any of the other dolls that Antu or Penny's Box have produced. Her horns are a translucent pink that has sort of a ombre fade into her hair, and they're much longer than the other pink and purple doll, or I'm sorry, pink and green blue doll. They're more like the ones on the first one we opened up, where they're longer and more elaborate, but they don't have any sort of like carving on them. She has this cute little swoop and these little bits of hair that are sticking out here. It's so pretty. She's so pretty. So she has the sleepy eyes that the green one had. You can see her little eyebrows. She has a design over her eye. She has, it's a little hard to tell. I think she has purple eye chips in her eyes. And then she has blue on her tail. I really love her hair. It's really pretty. Again, it's kind of it's a trick sometimes when you're trying to pose them because the hair will get in the way, or there's some outfits where that kind of hair will be an issue. But if you're just displaying them in their original clothes, it's not a problem. So just to cover, so I'm quite certain now the first one probably should have had a bracelet, and I'm going to have to look to make sure I didn't accidentally just chuck the tiny thing away, because this one has the same necklace, the two-part necklace that we found on the second doll that we put together, the beaded bracelet, the armlet, and the anklet with the closed hands. Her floating ribbon is pink and sheer, and it matches her. So this is her top, and I think it's an asymmetrical sleeve, I think. I'm going to imagine that this is some kind of sleeve. It has a snap closure. The way this sleeve works kind of reminds me of the same pattern that's in her hair with the swoop. There we go. Yeah, so it kind of looks like it's like an off the shoulder. I think this goes up a little higher. Yeah, I think that's what that's supposed to do. As far as her skirt goes, she doesn't have, yeah, so, although I think her swoop is backward. Maybe I was supposed to put that upside down. Here, I think I have this upside down. I think I am incorrect because there's a tiny little dip in the front here that I think is supposed to be at the top. So it goes up over her shoulder this way and around. Not that it makes a huge amount of difference, but authorial intent, right? If we're gonna dress them, let's do it like they intended before we get creative. There we go. Okay. That at least looks more like the picture. Okay, so it's sort of like an over-the-shoulder swoopy kind of thing. Now she doesn't have pants, but it looks like we're supposed to tie her skirt the same way we tied the one that has the pants, I think. So it's a 2-layer skirt, very similar colors, these sort of dusty blue. The lower layer has sort of like a pattern on it, sort of like a cheermin or something, like a textured pattern. Then she has the same matching pink sash that goes around the middle. On the ends of the sash, it's been tied, and there are little extra gold decorations on them. That's cute. She has a single ribbon in the front that has a green flower, pink flower alternating pattern on it. And then she has this little loop on her hip that has, so it's very similar to the other one, but it has white faceted beads, and instead of sort of a little paddle or leaf shape at the end, these have stars. So that's cute. I like the star detail. I'm a big fan of stars and celestial things. It's a small loop, but it's a pretty detail. So I think because these ribbons have always gone in the front before, that this ribbon's probably supposed to go in the front again. And I think maybe we tie it on the side. And so it's like a side slit. That's what I'm going to go with. That's how I'm going to conceptualize this. And again, I'll probably work with this knot a bit later. But, so all the jewelry aside, we have opened all of our dolls. So as a recap, we had our friend over here, which I think was Celestial Music. We have the last one we opened. Her friend, the blue, similarly blue and pink. The apricot, the green branch, and our first friend, Danny, Nirvana, I think is what she's supposed to be. If I had to pick a favorite, oh my god, it's so hard. I have to say, I love these universally. Like, I have favorites among the mermaids and the dragons and the centaurs in particular. But man, I think I like all of these like a lot. I'm gonna have to rotate them off of my work desk, fairly often. But if I had to pick one, I just like her hair color, and then our friend with the long wavy hair. So this was great. I love this set. They're so pretty. They're so individualized. Everything about them is different from each one. The horns, the hairstyles, the eyes, the face decorations, the clothing. The only thing they repeat is the jewelry, which is fine. Yeah, man, they won with this set. It is so pretty. The gold is so pretty. The eye chips are so pretty. Pretty. Clap my hands for Penny's box. This is another great addition. I can't wait to get the little hands that are coming from Kikagoods. So, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching and enjoying my content.